So if you keep trying making changes in your life, but find yourself always coming back to your old habits, this video is exactly for you, because I will show you the reason for why this is happening and what you can do about it with a practical method that you will be able to implement from now, from today, and be on the way of consistency and real, deep, long-term change. See, the main issue is that when we try to change what we do. We try to superficially change rather than go at the core and fix the problem from there. What do I mean with going to the core? Is going to your identity, going to what you are, because what you are, what you identify with, is what is determining all your behaviors and all your lifestyle. A practical example of that will be, I am a YouTuber. If you have this concept of yourself in your mind, a YouTuber does YouTube videos. It's implied in the identity. If I am a swimmer, this implies that I swim. If I am a musician, this implies that I make music. See, you can't be a musician without doing music, and you can't be a YouTuber without doing YouTube videos, as you can't be a bodybuilder without going to the gym. These behaviors are intrinsic to the identity itself. So how you see yourself, your self-image, is way more important than what you do on a superficial level, just on the action level. Because the problem that most people get into when they try to change their habits, change their lifestyle, is that they try to change their routine, what they do, but they don't go at the core of the identity of their self-image and change that. Because by changing that, will then automatically change all your behavior. And the thing is that it will be a deep, real change that will not leave any internal conflict, because the problem with changing what you do without changing your identity is that you will have internal conflict. For example, you try to quit smoking, try to stop the action of smoking, but you still see yourself as a smoker. See, if you do that, you will stop smoking for some days and you will have an internal conflict in which a part of you doesn't want to smoke and the other part wants to smoke. And you will still have this internal conflict for days and days until most probably you revert back to smoking, because you still see yourself as a smoker, because your identity as a smoker is not dead. You can't stop smoking if you see yourself as a smoker. And actually, this is exactly how I personally stopped smoking. After smoking for years, one day I actually became conscious of the effect that smoking had on my lungs. I literally felt what was happening on my lungs and something clicked. So here and there I decided that I was done with it, and in the next days and weeks I saw how the main thing that wanted me to go back to smoking was the identification with the idea of being a smoker, and that entailed all the gestures of smoking, etc. So all the psychological baggage that was with smoking, not the nicotine itself or the pleasure of the cigarette itself, but all the identity that was tied to it. So what I did is basically renounce to that identity, give up being a smoker, not the action of smoking itself, but being a smoker. All the self-image that I had about myself smoking a cigarette, I had to disidentify and give up all the images of myself as a smoker. Once that was done, the internal conflict of wanting to smoke and not wanting to smoke disappeared, because there was no more one part of me that wanted to smoke and the other that didn't want to. There was just one. There was no opposition between two parts. So see, that's how the change happens on a deep level. When you change your identity itself, what you are identifying with. So if you want to change your behaviors and by consequence your lifestyles, your habit, focus on changing your self-image. Focus on changing what are you identifying with, because that is, as we said, what determines all the rest, all the actions. Okay, so now I want to give you a powerful tool that you can use to change your self-image. You can use to update it by identifying with a new one or losing your identification with something that you don't want to be identified with anymore. So this practical tool is actually something that you probably, for sure, already heard of, which is affirmations. The problem is that affirmations are not something to be used as a mere belief, like affirming I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, and just thinking that automatically you'll be rich. That's not at all how you have to use them, and now I will explain to you how to correctly adopt them to change your identity. Affirmations are powerful because you are using the I am. So what's the correct way to use affirmations? The crucial key is to use the affirmation as if it's already true now. So you have to assume that the affirmation that you are telling yourself is already true. It doesn't have to be I will be a YouTuber. It has to be I am a YouTuber right now. I am it now. The important thing is to not do them in a mechanical way, just repeating them. It's really about affirming to yourself firmly that you are that right now. This is what changes your self-image. Another really important thing is when you do the affirmation, you will notice that there are other parts of your identity that are in conflict with that affirmation. For example, if you affirm, I don't smoke anymore, I'm done with smoking. See, you are affirming that on the now, so as if it's true now. But another part of yourself might say, but I am a smoker. In that case, it's very important to observe your mind doing that and not identify with that identity that you don't want to keep. So just observing at it and saying, I'm not that. It's an old identity pattern. And coming back to the affirmation. And the more you do that, thanks to the neuroplasticity of the brain, ability of it to change, your subconscious will rewire itself, your identification will slowly shift, and you will see that the identity that you are affirming will be more and more powerful. You will be more identified with it the more you do it, and the other one will lose its power until there is no more opposite identities to what you are affirming. And once that is done, you have assumed the identity and you literally are what you affirmed now. And once you lost the identity of being a smoker and you are identified with someone that doesn't smoke, you will not smoke. It's as simple as that. And it's with all the type of identities and all the behaviors that you can imagine. And see, that's the secret to consistency, because just look at the difference between someone who goes to the gym but doesn't see himself as someone who goes to the gym. Will just go for some time and then stop. In the other way, one who see himself as someone who goes to the gym or an athlete, whatever, he will go to the gym on the long term because he's not focused on the action. It is part of himself. Going to the gym is literally part of his identity. So of course, to keep this identity, he will go to the gym. So if you clearly understood what we spoke about in this video, you will be able to do dramatic changes in your life, really powerful changes in a short time frame. And those changes will last long because you went to the source of the problem rather than staying on the superficial level. And you actually changed yourself. If you're new to the channel and are interested in raising your body, mind and consciousness, feel free to subscribe. I'll help you to do that. And if you're interested in transcending the mind and the self, watch this video, a really fundamental and important one to do so. And other than that, I wish you a fantastic day and I'll see you in the next one. If you want to grab the Depression Handbook or do an holistic self-improvement coaching call with me for free, both links are in the description.